There's a lot going on in national politics, and so we want to chat about that this morning with Senator Alex Padilla, who, by the way, is also introducing a bill to help California better prepare for wildfires.
Never too early to start preparing for next fire season. Good morning, Senator Padilla.
Good morning, James. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And before we get to that bill, I have to ask you real quickly off the bat for your reaction this morning to the Virginia gubernatorial race. I know the result isn't what Democratic leaders were looking for. What do you think that means going forward?
Yeah, well, I think, win or lose, we should never take for granted making sure that we're communicating with our constituents nonstop and earning opportunities to serve in the next election. So there's going to be some, studying about what happened in Virginia. It's across the coast, across the country from California. So as long as the California representatives are talking to their constituents, doing their best to represent them, that's the best way to earn the opportunity to continue to serve.
So it doesn't worry you, some of the people that are watching this say, oh, it's an indication of the midterms and that sort of thing.
I mean, it's a year is an eternity in politics. So if nothing else, just take it as the most recent reminder not to take anything for granted, not to take any voter for granted or any political party for granted. We've got to have continued engagement between elected officials and the people they represent.
All right. And you represent California, which, boy, with the wildfires, that is the thing that we really want to be addressed and prepared for. So tell us about the Fire Act.
Right. So a couple pieces of legislation we're unveiling that frankly come from that engagement I was talking about, whether it was my visit to the Dixie fire earlier this year, the command center in Quincy, or roundtable discussions we had in Santa Rosa to talk to folks who had lived through it just a few years ago. We came to learn some very tangible recommendations to improve FEMA preparation and response, including the background that when FEMA was established, a lot of the protocols, a lot of the criteria, really more based for helping victims of floods or hurricanes or tornadoes, and not as much wildfires. But wildfires have become commonplace, especially in the western United States. So integrating the uniqueness of wildfires as disasters into FEMA policies, whether it's pre-positioning resources, because we can kind of predict when it's hot and high winds, red flag warnings, let's get ready because the odds are going up, or even how we help families and communities recover from a fire after the fact.
And another big thing that we oftentimes talk about here in the Bay Area, specifically with the fires, is that communities don't always have immediate or maybe even equal access to some of the resources, some of the relief. And I understand you're also trying to move that needle forward just a little bit as well. Can you talk to us about that, Bill?
Exactly. Look, not is only each disaster a little bit different, each community is a little bit different. You'll have instances where maybe a community or families with more resources can hire lawyers, can hire accountants, can hire somebody to help them navigate through the federal government, because it's not always easy. And so I think FEMA can and should be doing more to provide that technical assistance and support for families and communities with maybe less resources, but equally deserving of the relief, whether it's, food for, resources for, water, food, whether it's housing assistance, or even whole communities rebuilding from the impacts of a disaster.
Okay, well, we'll follow the progress of those bills. Hopefully they get done what you're hoping they'll get done. And before we let you go, I also have to ask you I have a friend who's really following the infrastructure bill, who's maybe thinking about getting an EV, but is curious about the EV tax credits.
Close friend, James?
Yeah,
Real
I'm
close
asking
friends?
for a friend. What's the update on that infrastructure bill?
You want a tax credit? Is that what you're asking for?
No, I'm curious.
Asking for a friend, or is this that you lobbying your U.S. Senator? I don't know, maybe a combination of the two. Look, I know it's been very dramatic, to put it mildly, in Washington, but I'm highly confident both infrastructure packages are going to get done, and not just electric vehicles and the infrastructure that supports electric vehicles, but the broader electrification of the transportation sector is such a key element of our infrastructure and how we're going to battle climate, which is ultimately one of the significant causes of these bigger and bigger wildfires. So it's all tied together here, and I think we're going to be making significant progress here in the next few weeks.
What about my friend who already got the car a couple of years ago? Can there be a double dip on
you're out of luck.
Thank you, Senator.
And if we don't get a chance to chat with you before the holidays, have a happy holidays. Hope you can get a chance to come back home and spend some time with the family.
We'll see you later.
Thank you, you too. And please continue to stay safe.
Okay.
Will do.